The latest episode of 1923, alliances crumble, secrets unravel, and Spencer Dutton finds himself on the brink of a fate darker than anyone could have imagined. Just when the dust seemed to settle, a shocking act of treachery changes everything. What does this mean for the future of the Dutton family? And will Spencer survive the storm that's coming for him? The Dutton family is confronted with one of the most devastating betrayals yet, which causes the tension in 1923 to reach an unbearable peak. In both a figurative and literal sense, Spencer finds himself on the precipice of a cliff after enduring the agony of war and the perilous journey home. Since his return, he has fought not just for his place within the family, but for the very survival of the Yellowstone ranch. But as he learns the painful truth, the realization cuts deeper than any wound he has ever suffered. A trusted ally is not who they appeared to be, and the consequences of their deception will shake the family to its core. At the heart of this episode lies an unfolding conspiracy that has been brewing in the shadows. The Duttons have never been strangers to conflict, but this time, the danger is not from cattle thieves, corrupt officials, or land-hungry enemies, it's from within. Despite the fact that Spencer's journey has always been difficult, nothing could have prepared him for the moment when he is betrayed by someone he least expected. This isn't just about losing land or power, this is about trust being shattered, and the cost of that deception will be paid in blood. Meanwhile, as Spencer wrestles with the shocking truth, the tension between Kara and Jacob Dutton escalates. The weight of leadership bears down on them, and while Jacob has always been the patriarch who stands firm, even he begins to sense that the war they're fighting may be unwinnable. The betrayals are not just personal, they are strategic. Every move the Duttons make is being countered, anticipated. It's almost as if someone has been feeding their enemies information from the inside. And now, as the walls close in, Spencer must act fast, because if he hesitates, he may not live to see another day. The betrayal doesn't just affect the Duttons, it sends shockwaves throughout the entire region. Friends of the family begin to question their alliances. Longtime ranch hands start to wonder if the war they are fighting is truly for a just cause. And most chilling of all, enemies who were once held at bay now see the fractures in the once unbreakable Dutton family. A storm is brewing, and Spencer is right in the middle of it. He is no stranger to battle, but this is different. This is a fight for survival, a test of loyalty, and a reckoning for those who have played both sides. As the truth unfolds, Spencer realizes he may have only two options: strike first or be taken down. The problem? He doesn't know who he can trust anymore. Every familiar face now holds the potential for betrayal, and every word spoken could be laced with deception. The Dutton name has always been synonymous with power, but as the family is torn apart by lies, the question becomes, how much power will they have left when this is all over? And perhaps more importantly, will Spencer survive? Spencer's world is falling apart too quickly for him to keep it together. The weight of betrayal sits heavy on his chest, suffocating him more than any battlefield he has ever stood on. Unlike the wars he has fought overseas, where the enemy was clear and the mission was straightforward, this battle is laced with deception, manipulation, and hidden agendas. The realization that someone close to him has been orchestrating his downfall leaves him reeling. Every memory, every decision he has made since returning home suddenly feels like a carefully laid trap, one that he unknowingly walked into. The very foundation of trust within the Dutton family is crumbling, and Spencer now finds himself questioning every relationship, every promise, and every so-called ally. But there is no time to grieve over trust lost. The betrayal is not only personal, but also deliberate. The enemy now holds the upper hand, having anticipated Spencer's every move. He was led into believing he had control, that he was shaping the future of the Yellowstone ranch. But in reality, he was being played like a pawn on a chessboard. Every struggle he endured, every risk he took, was feeding into someone else's plan. And now, as the full scope of the betrayal reveals itself, Spencer realizes he is not just fighting for his own survival, he is fighting to keep the entire Dutton legacy from slipping through his fingers. Meanwhile, chaos spreads beyond Spencer. The betrayal sends shockwaves through the Yellowstone ranch, igniting uncertainty and fear among those who have stood by the Duttons for years. The ranch hands the loyal cowboys who have fought and bled for the family now whisper among themselves, uncertain of where their allegiance should lie. The ranch has always been their home, a symbol of resilience and power. But even the strongest fortress can collapse when the foundation is rotted from within. Some begin to question whether the war is worth fighting anymore, while others see an opportunity to shift loyalties before they too are consumed by the storm. For Jacob and Kara Dutton, the betrayal is more than just a tactical loss, it is a deeply personal wound. Jacob, the unwavering leader of the family, has always believed in the strength of their bloodline, in the unbreakable bond that holds them together. But this betrayal shakes him to his core. He has seen enemies come and go, has fought battles that would have destroyed lesser men. But nothing could have prepared him for the devastation of being betrayed by someone they once called their own. The pain is not just in the deception itself, but in the fact that he never saw it coming. He had all the experience and knowledge in the world, but he was unable to protect his family from the inner enemy. Kara, ever the strategist, fights to keep the family together in the wake of the fallout. But even she knows that their once unshakable grip on the land is slipping. Their enemies, emboldened by the cracks within the Dutton household, begin to close in. Political forces, rival ranchers, and corrupt officials who have long sought to take control of Yellowstone now see their opportunity. The Duttons, once feared and respected, are now vulnerable. And the betrayal, as painful as it is only the beginning of something far worse. As the dust settles and Spencer attempts to regain his footing, a new threat emerges, one that could alter the course of his life forever. The betrayal was not just a random act of treachery, it was calculated, designed to leave Spencer isolated and defenseless. And now, with enemies circling and trust in short supply, he must decide his next move carefully. One wrong step, one miscalculation, could seal his fate. But Spencer is not one to bow down easily. He has survived too much, lost too much, to let this be his downfall. If he is to reclaim his power to expose those who have betrayed him, he must act swiftly and without hesitation. The question remains, can Spencer outmaneuver those who have set him up? Or is he already too late? The walls are closing in, and time is running out. The fate of the Yellowstone Ranch and the future of the Dutton family now rest on his shoulders. However, one thing becomes terrifyingly clear as the darkness draws nearer. This war is far from over, and the worst is yet to come. Spencer Dutton stands at a crossroads, the weight of betrayal pressing down on him like an unrelenting storm. His mind races, piecing together fragments of conversations, suspicious glances, and overlooked warnings that now seem so painfully obvious. He is shown everything he should have seen, and every sign he ignored in his relentless pursuit of protecting the Yellowstone Ranch because hindsight is cruel. But now the betrayal has been exposed, and there is no going back. The damage is done, and the consequences are already unfolding at an unstoppable pace. Spencer knows that his survival depends on his ability to act swiftly, to outthink those who have set this elaborate trap for him. But there is one glaring problem: he doesn't know the full extent of the deception. There is more at play here than what has been revealed, and until he uncovers the full truth, every move he makes could lead him deeper into danger. The betrayal sends ripples through the entire Dutton family. Jacob, a man who has built his life on strength and loyalty, feels the weight of failure creeping into his bones. He has spent years ensuring that the family remains untouchable, that their enemies fear them too much to strike. But now, the enemy has struck from within, and Jacob is left wondering how much control he truly has left. His fury is matched only by his disappointment. He trusted too easily, believed too strongly in the loyalty of those around him, and now that trust has cost them dearly, as much as he wants to retaliate, to crush those responsible, he knows that striking blindly will only weaken them further. The Dutton family is already bleeding, and another reckless move could be the final blow that brings them to their knees. Kara, ever the voice of reason, fights to keep the family from fracturing completely. She understands that betrayal does more than just shift alliances, it poisons the mind, turns allies into skeptics, and breeds paranoia that can be just as destructive as the enemy's attack itself. She sees it happening already. The ranch hands whisper in hushed tones, their loyalty wavering as they weigh their options. The political forces that have always threatened their land are circling like vultures, waiting for the right moment to strike. Even within the family, doubt festers like an untreated wound. If they do not act carefully, the Duttons may not just lose their land, they may lose themselves. Spencer, however, refuses to let paranoia dictate his next move. He is a man of action, shaped by war, by loss, by hardship. The pain of betrayal only fuels his determination, but he knows that brute force will not win this battle. His enemies have played a calculated game, one that required patience, manipulation, and a deep understanding of the Dutton family's weaknesses. If he wants to take back control, he must think like them. He must uncover their motives, expose their lies, and, most importantly, find out how deep this betrayal runs. Because if someone close to him was willing to turn against the family, there is no telling how many others may have been complicit in this web of deception. The search for answers leads Spencer into dangerous territory. He begins to retrace his steps, questioning every alliance, every decision made in recent weeks. The betrayal wasn't sudden. It was carefully planned, executed with precision. Someone had been feeding information to their enemies for far longer than they realized. Who then? And, more importantly, why? What did they stand to gain from turning against the Duttons? Was it money? Power? Revenge? The possibilities are endless, but Spencer knows one thing for certain: whoever orchestrated this is not finished yet. As he digs deeper, he starts to notice patterns: meetings that never made sense, messages that were conveniently intercepted, ambushes that happened at just the right moment. The betrayal is not just an isolated act, it is part of a much larger scheme. Additionally, Spencer comes to the realization that the worst may still lie ahead as he uncovers more information. The people who betrayed them are not done. They continue to move and work to demolish everything the Duttons have constructed. This was just the beginning of the betrayal. Now Spencer faces his greatest challenge yet. He must expose the traitor, reclaim control, and prepare for the battle that is still to come. But time is not on his side. Every moment he spends unraveling the truth is another moment the enemy gets closer to delivering their final strike. And as the tension escalates, one thing becomes terrifyingly clear: the war for Yellowstone has only just begun. Spencer Dutton knows he is walking on dangerous ground. The betrayal has shattered any illusions of control he once had, and now, every step forward feels like treading through quicksand. The more he struggles to uncover the truth, the deeper he sinks into the treachery that surrounds him. He is no stranger to danger. War has hardened him, taught him to recognize threats before they strike. But this is different. This isn't a battlefield where enemies wear different uniforms, and the front lines are clear. This is deception at its most insidious, a war fought in the shadows, where trust is a liability and every word could be a lie. With each passing moment, the weight of uncertainty grows heavier. Spencer replays every interaction, every conversation, searching for the cracks he failed to notice before. He needs answers, and he needs them fast. But finding the truth means confronting people he once considered allies, and that is a far more treacherous task than any battle he has ever fought. The Duttons have always operated on loyalty, on the unspoken understanding that family comes first. But now, that very foundation has been compromised. Someone among them has chosen to stand against everything they swore to protect. And until Spencer finds out who, the entire Yellowstone ranch remains at risk. Jacob Dutton watches the unraveling of his family with a mix of fury and grief. He has spent his entire life building this legacy, defending it against outsiders who sought to take what was theirs. But nothing could have prepared him for an attack from within. The betrayal has shaken him to his core, forcing him to question not just those around him but himself. How did he not see it coming? How could he have been so blind to the danger brewing within their own walls? He is wise because of his age, but he also puts too much faith in people he thought would carry on the family's legacy. Now, That trust feels like a mistake, one that could cost them everything. Meanwhile, Cara Dutton refuses to let the betrayal break them. She has always been the backbone of this family, the one who ensures they keep moving forward even in the face of disaster. But even she cannot deny the damage that has been done. Their enemies are quickly taking advantage of the chaos, which makes the ranch more vulnerable than ever. The betrayal has spread beyond their walls, giving those who have been waiting for a moment to strike confidence. Where once there was unshakable strength, rival ranchers, corrupt officials, and power-hungry businessmen are circling like wolves, sensing weakness. The Duttons have spent years fighting to keep their land, but now, for the first time, it feels as though the battle may already be lost. As Spencer continues his search for answers, he begins to piece together a trail of deceit that stretches further than he ever imagined. This betrayal was not an act of impulse. It was deliberate, carefully planned, and executed with precision. The traitor did not act alone. There are more forces at play here, hidden hands pulling the strings from the shadows. And the closer Spencer gets to the truth, the more dangerous his path becomes. He won't be allowed to learn the truth from the people who committed this treachery. They have already struck once, and they will not hesitate to do it again if it means keeping their plans in motion. The realization comes too late. Before Spencer can make his next move, the enemy strikes again this time. The attack is far more brutal, far more calculated. It is no longer about secrets. This is a message to keep away from topics he does not comprehend. But Spencer has never been one to back down. The more they push, the more determined he becomes. He refuses to let the betrayal define the fate of the Dutton family. He has fought too hard, lost too much, to let this be the end. Yet, as the dust settles from the latest attack, a terrifying truth begins to take shape. The betrayal is deeper than he imagined, and the people he once trusted may not be the only ones working against him. There are larger forces at play, and Spencer is only just beginning to understand how much danger he is truly in. The battle for Yellowstone has escalated beyond anything the Duttons have ever faced before. And as Spencer prepares for what comes next, he knows one thing for certain: there is no turning back now. The fight for their survival has only just begun, and the enemy is already 3 steps ahead. Spencer Dutton's world has shifted into something unrecognizable. The land he fought so hard to protect now feels like a battleground, not just against outside forces, but against the deception that has taken root within his own family. The betrayal isn't just a wound, it's an infection spreading through the Duttons, poisoning their trust in one another and leaving them vulnerable. Every move he makes now is shadowed by uncertainty. He cannot afford to make mistakes. One wrong step, one misplaced word, and everything could collapse. Jacob Dutton, though hardened by years of hardship and loss, feels the weight of this treachery in a way he never has before. He has always known enemies lurked beyond the borders of the ranch: politicians, hungry for power, businessmen looking to carve up their land, cattle thieves waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But this betrayal is different. It is not an outsider looking to destroy them. It is someone who once sat at their table, spoke their words, and swore their loyalty. That kind of betrayal is far worse than anything an enemy could inflict, because it corrupts everything they have built from the inside out. Jacob has faced death, has stood at the edge of ruin, and clawed his way back. But this betrayal makes him question everything. The Duttons face betrayal and a coordinated attack from enemies seeking to destroy their legacy. After their ranch is ravaged, buildings burned, allies killed. Spencer vows retaliation, rallying loyal allies to strike back. The family, though wounded, refuses to yield, transforming despair into defiance. As threats escalate, Spencer uncovers a larger conspiracy targeting their land and power. The Duttons declare war, ready to confront their foes with relentless fury. Subscribe to our channel NEXTDOOR for more.